All right, we're back. Let's go. I'm very excited to be back. I've been kind of taking some time to work on some things in the background. So stay tuned for that. But I'm very excited to get into a draft. It's been the last Best Ball Mania draft is the last draft I've done, and that's primarily because I I'm just really not into the $3 12 team leagues. I really want to do the tournaments, and I can't be doing Best Ball Mania tournaments every day. So while we're waiting for the puppy draft to come back, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do Best Ball Mania drafts a little less frequently, but we're also getting into our ranking videos here. Starting either tomorrow or Monday. We're shooting the video for the quarterback tier list tomorrow, and I just haven't decided if I want to premiere it on Sunday, like early afternoon, or if I want to do Monday. But look out for that. But while we're waiting for the puppy draft, we're going to be doing Best Ball Manias and ranking videos now that we're getting closer and closer to the season. So I'm very excited about it. And to be honest with you, I just want to get into more of these Best Ball Mania drafts. These are the most fun. And if you want to get involved yourself, go ahead over to UnderdogFantasy.com. Your first deposit from $10 to $100 will get matched at 100%. So if you put $100 in, you'll get another $100 for free. And if you use code FFX54, that will support my channel, and it will take nothing away from your match. So if you like the content, you want to support the channel, and you're looking at signing up for UnderdogFantasy.com, make sure you throw code FFX54 in when you make your first deposit. But we're about to get into this once it fills up. I'm assuming the next puppy draft is going to be coming up here. I think it's either going to be next week or the week following. I haven't figured out if they release one every or if they let the puppy draft be dormant for 1 or 2 weeks. So we'll find out this go around. I hadn't really paid attention before. And obviously with that, we're hoping for a normal half PPR, 1 quarterback draft. That's what we're hoping for. Superflex was fun while it lasted, but I'm okay with that being the end of it. While we're getting into this draft, let's go over to the news here real quick and check out what's going on. A lot of people, Christian Watson placed on PUP list. This is not PUP list for the season. This is PUP list for the for training camp. Yeah, this is PUP list for training camp. So a lot of people went on PUP list. A lot of the Ravens went on PUP list. A lot of the Packers, it looks like. I didn't know Christian Watson was injured. Justin Ross went on PUP list. David Bell. So on and so forth. Our draft is about to start, though, so let's get back in here and see where we're at. We're pick 11, and there's only 1 experience badge, so this is a good start already. This is what we prefer. Obviously, we prefer no experience badges, but other than that, you guys know we like drafting here at the end of the first round, so this is looking good for us. While we're waiting, everyone that's been checking out the channel, I really do appreciate it. We've been getting some pretty good traction on our channel as of late, and we're steady climbing. And as we progress and push the channel further and further away from our starting point, as far as views and engagement goes, that means that we're also going to be pushing further and further past our starting point. With effort and preparation. Obviously, in the offseason, we've been doing all of these Underdog Fantasy drafts because they're so much fun. I can't tell you how much fun these are, and if you haven't done them yet, you should really get involved. If the puppy tournament is active, you pay $5, you get an hour of fun, and you get a chance of winning $75,000. So you really can't beat that, but as the season approaches, we're going to be releasing positional ranking videos. It's going to be more of a rapid fire type of ranking, so we can get more players in. And most people just care about seeing where those players rank against other players in their position. So I think that's the most effective way to do it, to keep things moving, get as many players ranked as possible. And I think that is what people prefer anyways. If you guys feel differently, let me know in the comments. But I truly feel like that is the best move. So we're going to give it a shot. And it's going to be a casual style ranking as well. It's going to be it's backed with information, but it is. What do I want to do here? Hold on one sec. Let's get Devontae. I don't have a whole lot of Devontae Adams here. That could be a mistake. And I'm looking for Joe Mixon on the way back through. But DeAndre Swift will do just fine as well. But yeah, it's going to be a just the nature of running through players as fast as we can to get as many in as possible. Because I don't want the video being too long. I want it to be a watchable length. So like 30 minutes probably is what I'm shooting for. And to give 32 in-depth analysis on all quarterbacks is just not possible in that amount of time. Now, I will say, as we get further and further down the list, we're gonna we'll give a little bit more analysis on the top tier players, and then once we get down to like the D and E rankings, then we're just gonna fly through them. But we're back here at pick 14, and what we're gonna do here is go ahead and grab Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon. I think he might be a top 5 back this upcoming year if he can stay healthy. Last year, on a points per game basis, in a half PPR league, Joe Mixon had 16.7 points per game and he actually finished as the number 3 running back overall with 266.9 fantasy points on the season. Now, Austin Eckler and Jonathan Taylor were quite a large margin ahead of him. But after those two players, it goes Joe Mixon, Najee Harris, James Conner. So that kind of tells you the caliber of season he had last year. So he did finish as a top 3 back last year. And I think he repeats that due to the fact that he's in a better situation now. Everyone knows the Bengals offense. They were on high profile last year. And so people are going to be preparing for the passing game a lot more this year. That's kind of the nature of the NFL is after a huge season for an offense, usually gets a little bit more difficult the next season. So they might have to run the ball a little bit more. And that in combination with them improving their offensive line, it's setting up Joe Mixon for a really good year. Let's see how many receptions he had. He had 42 receptions out of the backfield. That is comparable to, say, a Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor had 40. Now, Jonathan Taylor played one more game than Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon only played 16 games rather than 17. But Joe Mixon had 42 receptions in 16 games, which is definitely respectable for a running back. I wouldn't call him a pass-heavy back, but he definitely has involvement in the passing game, as you would expect from that offense. And I think his opportunities go up this year as well. So we continue to see Michael Pittman go at the beginning of the 3rd round. He's kind of finding a new home up here, which is very interesting, being that he's going ahead of A.J. Brown pretty commonly now, which I don't agree with that. I think Michael Pittman definitely should be drafted after DJ Moore and A.J. Brown, but ahead of Mike Williams, and our rankings will reflect that. And while we're on the topic of that one more time, the wide receiver rankings, obviously there's no way we're ranking all of them. So certain positions we're going to have to water down how many players we rank. Because if we rank too many, then it gets out of hand. James Conner made it back to us at 35. He finished as the number 5 running back on the season last year. So we're going to go ahead and grab him. We're going to grab James Conner and keep it moving. Now, I will say with these 2 running backs picked, I do want to hammer some wide receivers. And I'm always so bad at this. I'm so bad at sticking to the script here, but we're going to go ahead and try and stick to it as closely as possible and grab a wide receiver now. It's just a matter of who we want. It's a matter of who we want. Marquise Brown, Cortland Sutton, Jalen Waddle. We have a very small amount of Marquise Brown. He's one of those players that, and if you've been involved in a lot of these drafts, you would understand what I'm about to say. But a lot of times, especially when you're drafting a bunch of teams, like I feel like I go through these phases of players where I'm super low on them, and then I'll come around and I'll see the case and I'll see something I wasn't thinking about, and I'll be like, okay, well, maybe I was undervaluing that player. And Marquise Brown is one of those players. The reason I haven't been drafting him or hadn't drafted him in the earlier portions of my drafts this year is because I was seeing him as a wide receiver that was only going to get a decent workload when DeAndre Hopkins was out for the first 6 games. And then once DeAndre Hopkins comes back, I was just thinking that all of the volume would start going to him and just shying away from Marquise Brown. But Marquise Brown has a relationship with Kyler Murray from college, obviously. And he's a completely different player than DeAndre Hopkins. So even when DeAndre Hopkins comes back, I think it's going to be more of a 1A, 1B situation instead of a 1 and 2 situation when you're talking about targets. I do think Marquise Brown is going to be targeted quite a bit. And the Arizona offense is going to be a pass-heavy offense. That's just the nature of how they run their offense. And that means that there's going to be plenty of volume to go around. And being that Christian Kirk is gone now, even when DeAndre Hopkins gets back, there's plenty of targets that is going to be freed up to go towards Marquise Brown as well as DeAndre Hopkins and support both players there. So obviously with Marquise Brown and James Conner on our roster, we're going to be shooting for Kyler Murray in the 5th round. But while we're waiting, let's go ahead and take a quick peek at what's going on. Jerry Jeudy continues to fall. Gabe Davis continues to go way too early, even though I have some exposure to that because of this team, what this team is doing. I think this might even be the exact start that I did when I got Gabe Davis. And I only have Gabe Davis in one team, and it's a team like this where I have Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen, and Gabe Davis. So I do like it if you're trying to plan a double stack for arguably the best offense in the league. But other than that, if I don't have Josh Allen, I'm not interested in Gabe Davis at pick 43. He goes Patrick Mahomes as well. That's a little bit interesting, and that might mess with us getting Kyler Murray. With 2 quarterbacks going to the same team pretty early on, that might push some quarterbacks up the board and take them away from us, but we'll just have to wait and see here. J.K. Dobbins goes fairly early. So we're up, and oof. Now this is interesting. This is interesting, but so we went David Montgomery because this team took Lamar Jackson last round, so we're betting that he doesn't take Kyler Murray here and go 2 quarterbacks in a row. And David Montgomery was at an 8-pick value, so I really wanted to capitalize on that. And this is a tournament draft, so I think making these bets is very smart. And you see that we end up capitalizing on the bet that we made. Now, being that we were only at pick 11 and we had one team we had to weather, which means 2 picks at this turn, is why I was willing to make that bet to try to secure David Montgomery at pick 59 overall, whereas his normal ADP is having him go off the board of this early 5th round. So we got him at the very end of the 5th round, and we got Kyler Murray. So what I will say is, obviously, as we get closer and closer to the season starting, we're going to start kind of shying away from best ball format drafts, and we're naturally going to start going towards the redraft leagues because that's where all of your fun leagues are. These leagues are obviously fun, but this is more of a solo thing. Your redraft leagues are where all the bragging rights lie. You're playing with your friends, you're playing with your coworkers, you're playing with your family. And, we can win all the money in the world on these drafts, but the really, really important drafts are the ones that you get to roast your friends if they do poorly and rub in their face if you end up winning the league. So, in those leagues, I don't think you have to make bets like this. I think if you already have Marquis Brown and James Conner, and that is the league of the year, that's your league no matter what. There's only one draft for that friend group. Taking the risk and going David Montgomery, let's just say in this case, might not be worth it because you might want to go ahead and secure Kyler Murray so that your friend doesn't snipe you on this turn. Because you're not going for that. You don't have to take as many risks when you're not going for first place out of 100,000 people. When you're going for first place out of 12 people, you do still want to take those risks and you do still want to build super teams based off of your risk versus reward decisions throughout the draft. But when it comes down to having a double stack on the horizon and a potential dickhead friend here at the turn trying to snipe him from you, might as well go ahead and grab Kyler Murray. And at worst case scenario, they take David Montgomery and Dalton Schultz, and you either get Elijah Mitchell or Amon-Ra St. Brown. But I think having that stack is really what's important there. When you're doing these Best Ball Mania drafts, when you're doing the puppy drafts, you're shooting for your absolute max ceiling. And if it doesn't work out, you chalk that draft up to the game and you get into another one, and hopefully that one works out. But in your redraft leagues, you don't have to make those. You don't have to make those reaches as much. You guys probably already know what we're trying to do here if this team doesn't take them. He goes Christian Kirk. We're going to go ahead and get DeAndre Hopkins. We're really going Arizona Cardinal heavy here. We have James Conner, Kyler Murray, Marquise Brown, and DeAndre Hopkins. So we're going with a super, super duper stack here, which I do like what we're doing. I do like that. What I'm curious to see if I look ahead, Derek Carr is going at 106. That might. Oh, wait, we're on the clock. Hold up. 86. Miles Sanders is falling. I think I'm going to go ahead and grab him at 10 picks behind his ADP and then just forget about running back from now on. Now, we do have to be careful about wide receiver now. And if we look at this, I know I always say this, so if you don't believe me, that's fine. I totally understand. But if we look at this right now, we're going to go 4 out of the next 5 rounds. We're going to go all wide receiver. Derek Carr goes very early, which that actually might be a favor to us because I don't know why he took him there. He probably could have taken him at 105. He didn't need the stack with Hunter Renfrow that bad. That was a little bit of a mistake there from him. And you also see him take J.K. Dobbins very early. So this is what you get when you don't have experience badges. You get people reaching on players that, this guy wouldn't have had to fight anybody for Derek Carr down here. I'm the only guy that would have been interested in him. I guess other than the Darren. Oh my God! Other than the Darren Waller team, I'm the only other team interested. So that was a bit of a reach, which will push some value down the board to us later on. No real runs going here, but what I was saying was that our wide receivers are looking very good right now with DeAndre Hopkins, Marquise Brown, and Devontae Adams. However, 2 of those players are on the same team, 2 of our top 3 receivers. So I basically count them as one, which means we're a little bit behind on the wide receiver position. And because we're a little bit behind on the wide receiver position, and I'm going 4 out of the next 5 rounds wide receivers, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to pick a wide receiver that has a quarterback that I like later in the draft. So I don't have to even think about quarterbacks until the later rounds, and I can grab someone that I like, especially being that I have the super stack with Kyler Murray early on. So that's the bet I'm making on this team. I'm betting on the Arizona Cardinals on this team. So to go through and grab another high-end quarterback, especially with the state of our wide receiver room right now, I think would be a mistake, and I think we can find some good value at quarterback later on. and then catch up on some value at wide receiver in the next few rounds. Now, we do see a little bit of a wide receiver run starting here on the opposite side of the board. So we're going to keep an eye on that because you never like to see that when you need a wide receiver. That means a lot of the value's getting eaten up, and we're going to be kind of chasing that group as the draft goes through. So hopefully we see some players that are not wide receivers go off the board here. More wide receivers continue to go off the board. That's unfortunate. Trying to find Miles Sanders on his last year's stats, but let's do that after we pick. Oh, yikes. We're going to go. Yeah, I know I'm full of shit. Well, I'm not really technically full of shit except for the part that I said that I was going to go no quarterback for the next few rounds. And the reason I did this is because I want to grab Christian Watson to get us another stack. I think stacks are king in best ball format drafts. And being that we have Christian Watson and Aaron Rodgers sitting at this turn, I'm going to go ahead and capitalize on that. So we grab Christian Watson right here. He's on the PUP list, but that's for training camp, so I'm not too worried about it. We can dig in here for a second just to make sure it's all good, even though it doesn't matter for this draft since we already drafted him. But just for curiosity moving forward, place on the PUP list. Let's see. Let's get a Watson, 22, led North Dakota. Packers, okay, got it. Veteran receiver Dontrell Inman. No one knows who that is. Projected to sign 4-year, blah, blah, during this 5. I don't want the history of the player. I want to know what his injury is. Excuse me, please tell me what his injury is. All right, this is ridiculous. What is injury? I know he's on the PUP list. What for what? Football injury updates? Christian Watson. Here we go. Packers rookie. Oh my god, if you tell me when he was drafted one more time, I'm going to lose it. This is crazy. As it is unclear exactly what caused the Packers to place him onto it. Okay, so we don't know. That's why it's so hard to find. I'm not worried about it. I'm going to continue to draft him. I probably could have waited if I needed to, but there's no way he would have made it that far. I don't think everyone knows that he's on the PUP list, and based on the experience in this draft lobby, I don't even know if they know what the PUP list necessarily is. So I do like having the stack there, and I think that Lazard went early. Where's Lazard? Yeah, Lazard went up here. Holy shit, Lazard is moving up. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm good on that. Definitely good on that. This guy, I like his team right now. He has Cooper Kupp, Debo, Nick Chubb, George Kittle stacked with Trey Lance. Justin Herbert does not have a stack, but he has the Brandon Ayuk double stack with Trey Lance. So I like that. I think Trey Lance is going to impress a lot of people this year, and you will see. You have to tune into the ranking videos to see where we rank him. It's going to be a lot higher than what you may expect. But we're about to pick here at pick, what is it, 131? We do need a tight end, but we need wide receivers more. I do think that, man, Hunter Henry, Alberto, Robert Tonyan. Tunyan's 152. I know he's on the pup list. Relax. 152. We'll shoot for Tonyan. That'll be our tight end target. Because we're going to try to catch up on wide receivers, as we said. So I think we'll go Jacoby Myers. He had a let's see where he ended. He had a really good year with Mac Jones last year. That seemed worse than it was because of his lack of production in the end zone, which I think that was more of a fluke season, where it was just an overlying struggle on the season, and I think that gets straightened out while Mac Jones and Jacoby Myers have a little bit more experience now. But we're going to go ahead and grab Jarvis Landry as well. Scoop him, make up some space here in the wide receiver room. I think we're going to grab at least one more, and then we're going to try to grab Robert Tonyan. All right. Let's see. Kendrick Bourne finished 30th overall over Jacoby Myers. That's interesting. Jacoby Myers played 16 games and had 144 points, but that is due to him only having 2 touchdowns on the entire season, 866 receiving yards, and 126 targets with 83 receptions. So even though Kendrick Bourne had 153 fantasy points as opposed to Jacoby Myers 144, that was more of a big play type receiver, so that is a little less repeatable than what Jacoby Myers has. I think Jacoby Myers is in a position to excel this year, whereas Kendrick Bourne will probably regress a little bit. So I'm okay with going Jacoby Myers right there. And remember, this is half PPR, so the slot guys still have some value. It's not like you're looking purely on yards and touchdowns. The players that are getting high reception, low yardage, which is basically your slot receivers, those guys are going to be a little bit more valuable. So those are your Jarvis Landrys and your Jamison Crowders and players like that. I think Elijah Moore is a slot guy as well. So obviously we're hoping we get Robert Tonyan here and go for the double stack with Matt Ryan. We have 2 teams that already have 1 tight end. They could go for a second here. He goes Daniel Jones. Interesting. This guy could take Tonyan from us. He was Marvin Jones. So we will get the double stack. So our stacks are looking really good, and that's something we've gotten really good at, is planning our stacks far out based off of our current ADP. I mean, our position in the draft versus the players that we're trying to stack. Because if you grab a player without looking ahead, you have no idea if you're going to be able to grab. Like, if we grab, like, let's just say we grab Lazard here without looking ahead to see if we can get Aaron Rodgers. Well, when you come around, you find yourself in a situation at pick 98 where to get the stack, you have to reach all the way across 10 picks to grab him, or you don't get the stack. But if you're if you're looking ahead and finding stacks of players that, if you're looking ahead and finding stacks with players that are going to fall in your area, you make the likelihood of them falling to you a lot higher. Just if you forecast and look 3 or 4 rounds ahead, and all right, so I'm looking for a stack here. We're at pick 203, and that player's going at We scroll down, we find the player. Oh, Carson Wentz going to 201. It's a 3 ADP and pick difference. So we can go ahead and assume that we'll get him falling to us. If not, oh well, but it gives us a good chance. But if you don't look ahead and you don't know where the player's falling in ADP, then you're really not setting yourself up for success. And that's something we've improved with as these drafts have gone on. Because you see here, we have Kyler Murray and Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. And if you go through our offense, James Conner, Kyler Murray. Marquis Brown, Kyler Murray. DeAndre Hopkins, Kyler Murray. Christian Watson, Aaron Rodgers. Robert Tonyan, Aaron Rodgers. So we've gotten good at creating positions. We've been putting ourselves in positions to get the stacks that we're looking for, which I think is the most important thing you can do in these drafts. So I'm going to continue to do that. And one thing I've been messing around with a little bit is I used to cut myself off after having two players. So in the past, for an example, if I already had James Conner and Marquise Brown and Kyler Murray, I would have cut myself off and not went DeAndre Hopkins. But I'm exploring the strategy of going just loading up on a certain team and seeing how that plays out in the end of the year. Now, I think this is the max that I want, is like 2 wide receivers and a running back and a quarterback. I really don't want to get into like 3 wide receiver territory. The only one that I could be interested in, or the only two that I could be interested in are Jamison Crowder, Stephon Diggs, like Dawson Knox and Josh Allen, or Joe Burrow, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase. I could get on board with that. But, I mean, really after having 2 receiving options on the same offense and like a running back or something or a tight end, that's where I'm going to cut it off. But you do see us getting 2 double stacks with our quarterbacks. So we're basically, this team is betting on the production of the Green Bay Packers and Arizona Cardinals this upcoming year. And I think those are very good offenses to bet on. So we're setting ourselves up for success here. And when we have anchors outside of the double stack, like Joe Mixon, David Montgomery at value, Miles Sanders, Devontae Adams, we're setting ourselves up to have a high ceiling team that could win us some money. Now, another thing I did want to touch on is we see Deshaun Watson climbing the draft board, and it came out that I want to Sammy Watkins. It came out that he actually has. They don't think he's going to get a full season, which I still don't believe it. I really don't. I would be shocked if he didn't get a full season, but it is starting to look that way. So we're going to just have to wait and see how that all plays out. But we really are needing a tight end here soon. And our tight ends are looking ugly as we progress through the draft. And I don't think I'm going to take one right here. I think what we're going to do is go ahead and grab a wide receiver in, who do we want? Kendrick Bourne? Let's grab Kendrick Bourne. We talked a little bit about him earlier on. We have 2 receiving options from the Patriots, and I do think that Mac Jones takes a step in his passing game this season. So I do like that pick. Let's zoom out real quick and see how many picks left. We have 3 picks left, and I think what I'm going to do here is grab another wide receiver and then 2 tight ends at the end. So it's just a matter if we want Julio. We could go AJ Green. Could go David Bell. This might be a little odd. What's our pick? Our pick is 203. That's right in AJ Green's range. Or no, David Bell's range. I don't have any Cameron Brate. Let's go ahead and take Cameron Brate and hope that David Bell falls to us because like we were just saying, Deshaun Watson is likely. I think it's becoming a higher probability that he plays this season, which I don't think he plays. Could be very wrong. I don't think anyone really knows how that whole legal case is going and what's developing. So everything I'm saying is just speculation based off of what he did and the amount of and the severity of the situation. So I think that he doesn't play this season, but reports are coming out that I saw a report saying 2 to 6 weeks is on the horizon, which I cannot imagine that, especially with Kamara getting threatened with 6 weeks for a drunk fight in Vegas. Like that, I mean that would be kind of crazy if he does only get that amount of time. But again, that all being said, um, if he is back and does play, David Bell becomes an extremely attractive option, especially based off of the reports he's been getting from training camp. He's on the pup list. The training camp pup list, I'm not super worried about. I think this time in the season, it is in the team's best interest to make sure that the players are going into the season at full health. So if there's any injuries on the horizon or kind of lingering in the background, they're just going to rest their players. They're going to give them the time they need to heal and handle it with caution. So I'm not worried about any of these pup list guys because we're about to have 3 of them if we get David Bell. We have Christian Watson pup list, Robert Tonyan pup list, and then David Bell, if we get him, will be a pup list player as well. So I'm not worried about it. Now, if we get closer to the season and they are on the regular season pup list, that is something we take note of and to be a little bit not concerned about, but take it into our decision-making process because that means that they're going to miss at least 4 weeks. So that is a little bit more. That is a little bit more of an issue than the training camp pup list. A lot bigger of an issue than the training camp process. One thing I'm starting to consider, and this might be crazy. Someone talked me out of it in the chat, but if Deshaun Watson falls to us at 203, I want to make the bet on Deshaun Watson and go Deshaun Watson as a third quarterback. Oh, no, David Bell goes. Okay. I don't know if that would have been crazy to go David Bell and Deshaun Watson. I don't think we need quarterbacks, so it probably would have been crazy, but that stack sounds very nice. Braven Jordan's still available. Kyle Rudolph, what team are you on? Lands with Bucks? Interesting. Whoa. That's actually a huge development. Does that change something for us? I really want to take Kyle Rudolph. Oh. The only thing is, what I was thinking is if I wanted to go Braven Jordan and Kyle Rudolph. I think our receivers are weak enough to where we need to take a wide receiver right there. But I think we do go Kyle Rudolph to pair with Cameron Brate. We're making a bet on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers tight ends here. And having both might not be a bad option. And the only reason I'm considering this is because the only other tight ends available are Braven Jordan. Well, it's really just Braven Jordan because I'm not interested in Taysom Hill. And I have a lot of Braven Jordan. So I think we're going to go Kyle Rudolph here. I don't know if Cameron Brate is necessarily capable of being the number 1 tight end in Tampa Bay. And being that we already made the bet on Cameron Brate and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers tight ends, I'd rather have both so that we have. I think one of them is going to be ultra productive with Robert Gronkowski not there, and Tom Brady being the type of quarterback to look towards his tight end. Quite a few, honestly, not even just his tight end. To just he distributes the ball to absolutely every single one of his options, and having 2 of those options with the tight end position and the best quarterback of all time, I think that's the right play there. I think it's the right play to have both players and we catch all of the upside in the Buccaneers tight end room. And then we'll have Robert Tonyan as our pairing with Aaron Rodgers. So our team has now been completed. I really do like this team. This might be my favorite Best Ball Mania team. And we can even go look at it if we want to. But just reading this team back one more time. We have so we have 5 entries. Here, let's go through these first. See what we're up against. Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields, Dalvin Cook, Najee, Ken Walker, Alexander Madison, Jerick McKinnon, Mike Williams, Jalen Waddle, Darnell Mooney paired with Justin Fields, D-Hop, Christian Watson, George Pickens, John Mechie, Byron Pringle paired with Justin Fields, and then Dallas Goedert, David Njoku, Hayden Hurst. Next team, Lamar, Jameis, Jonathan Taylor, Alvin Kamara paired with Jameis, Kareem, Cordero, Darrell Williams, Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore, Devontae Smith, Christian. We'll have a lot of Christian Watson in the Best Ball Mania draft. I've realized, and it's because we always do that heavy. We prioritize running back so that when we go to start making up in the wide receiver room, we usually fall in this 120 range or 100 range, where we end up taking Christian Watson because I don't like their other receivers in that range. And you see us grab Jarvis Landry quite a bit as well. So that's something to take note of. Maybe in the next draft, we kind of veer away from them a little bit because 3 of our 6 have Christian Watson. So we might want to diversify a little bit. Same with John Mechie here. And then Mark Andrews paired with Lamar. Joe Burrow, Justin Fields, AJ Dillon, Kareem Hunt, Melvin Gordon. This is not a running back heavy team. This is a little bit different of a strategy. So our wide receivers are probably cracked. Cooper Kupp, T. Higgins, Deontay Johnson, Jerry Jeudy. T. Higgins has a stack with Joe Burrow, Deontay Johnson, Jerry Jeudy, Marvin Jones, William Fuller. Have some David Bell. No Christian Watson, James Washington, Mark Andrews, Cole Kmet stack with Justin Fields. The last team we drafted was Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, and Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, David Montgomery, Miles Sanders, Darrell Williams at running back. Where's our stacks? Our stacks are Mike Evans with Tom Brady because we took Tom Brady out of spite to snipe the guy ahead of us. That was very petty, but loved the pick. McCole Hardman stacked with Patrick Mahomes. We went with 4 tight ends here, but you can see the caliber of tight ends we have. Tyler Higbee, Logan Thomas, Braven Jordan, Mo Alley Cox. That's why we went with 4. No massive stacks with Mahomes here. I think we got Mahomes at we got Mahomes at a 7-pick value, which is why we took him. And I think we were hoping that, I remember what happened here. Go watch this video. This is the last video on our YouTube channel if you haven't seen it already. And while we're at it, make sure you comment, like the video if you like the video, and subscribe and ring the notification bell so that when we're live, you can come hang out. And if you're early enough, you can potentially get into the draft that we are about to hop into. But what happened there was we sniped the guy ahead of us on Tom Brady, and because he had Chris Godwin and Russell Gage. So what he did in turn was take MVS and CEH from us. So that is why that's why we were only able to stack 1 player with Patrick Mahomes, because we pissed the guy off ahead of us. So now looking at today's team, we have Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, Joe Mixon, James Conner stacked with Kyler Murray, David Montgomery at a 9-pick or a 7-pick value, Miles Sanders at almost a 10-pick value, Tyler Algier. Our wide receivers are Devontae Adams, Marquise, and DeAndre are stacks with Kyler Murray. Christian Watson is a stack with Aaron Rodgers. Imagine if Devontae was still in the Packers. That would be a crazy team, but he's not. Jacoby Myers, Jarvis Landry, Kendrick Bourne, and John Mechie. And then our tight ends are Robert Tonyan stacked with Aaron Rodgers, and then the entire Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the new Tampa Bay Buccaneers tight end room. So this is the only thing I'm a little questionable on, and I think what I might have changed, probably should have changed, is instead of going John Mechie here, go with Braven Jordan and go with 4 tight ends and 7 wide receivers. We'll see, because I do think the reason I'm picking so much John Mechie is I think when he comes back from his injury, he's going to be extremely serviceable and offer up some good scores that we can use in the later portion of the year coming into the tournament time, and he might be a league winner. He might be the Amon-Ra St. Brown of last year. I truly do think that's in the range of outcomes for him. But I think with this team, we could have went Brave and Jordan instead. But then again, if this is a team that wins us $2 million, could be because of John Mechie. So this is our team. I really do like the team. I think we have some great running back values. I think we have some great quarterbacks, and I think we have some great stacks throughout the entire team with some solid pieces anchoring our rooms down that have no stacks. So I really do enjoy the team. If you're seeing this video, go through in the comments and let me know what you how you feel about this team because it is a little bit different and it does have some higher quantity a higher quantity of players on the same team, so it's kind of like that super stack type of build with Arizona Cardinals. So and then tell me what you feel about the John Mechie pick over Brave and Jordan in the 4 tight end room, because if you saw Underdog Fantasies, what is it called? It's called like the Noob Draft Guide or something. It's a video on YouTube. You can go look it up on Underdog Fantasies YouTube channel. But they go through the analytics of having of the teams that won based off of their team structure. And what I was surprised to see was a lot of the teams that did well stopped at 7 wide receivers. They drafted at least 5 running backs, and they went with either 3 or 4 tight ends. So that's the structure of team that had the highest percentage of advancement rate from the 12-team draft board that you see right here, and advancing through this into the tournament at the end of the year, which starts at, what week is that? Yeah, so they advanced after week 14. That's where you get your advance rate. And I think that advance rate of the structure was about 20%. And then that would advance you into the quarterfinals and give you the chance at winning $2 million. So I've been trying to take that into consideration when I'm building these teams. And just kind of switching it up. We always talk about how we're diversifying the portfolio. So we're going to continue to do that. But in the meantime, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Look out for our quarterback ranking video coming out either tomorrow or Monday. And there will be a lot of good content in there. And you can use that ranking video for your drafts moving forward. And I'm very curious to see what the comment section has to say about these ranking videos, because I can promise you there will be plenty of people disagreeing. The way I'm approaching these rankings is I am definitely not sparing any feelings. I'm not going with the status quo. We're going to go ahead and go through and select the players that we truly feel are going to have the highest amount of fantasy points at the end of the year. So you can use it for all different types of leagues, but it's just the highest amount of fantasy points that we are projecting for the year in a PPR/half PPR format. So there's going to be some hot takes in there is what I'm saying. There will be some hot takes that is going to have some pushback, and I'm very excited to see what the people have to say about my IQ after we release these ranking videos. It's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you check in for those. We're going to continue to do these Best Ball Mania drafts once a week. Until tomorrow, I will see you guys. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Eat some good food, hang out with the family, do something productive. But until tomorrow, I'll see you guys. Peace out.